The Quran details human development in sequential stages, outlined in Surah Al-Mu'minun, centuries before modern microscopy. The initial stage, Nutfah, translates literally as a drop or small quantity of fluid. Biologically, this corresponds to the seminal fluid containing the gametes and, critically, the resulting zygote after fertilization. This description predates the detailed work of figures like Harvey or von Baer by over a millennium. The Nutfah stage encompasses the initial fusion of sperm and egg, followed by the rapid cell division known as cleavage. This single-cell origin and subsequent multiplication establish the foundation for all future structures. The precision of this terminology, referring to the minute quantity of fluid necessary for conception, is the central point of analysis regarding 7th century scientific knowledge. The Nutfah stage transitions into the Alaqah, typically spanning 7 to 24 days post-conception. Alaqah carries 3 distinct meanings in classical Arabic: a clinging thing, a suspended mass, and a blood clot or leech. Biologically, the embryo at this stage strongly resembles a leech, both externally and in its function of drawing blood from the uterine wall. It is literally clinging to the endometrium for sustenance, establishing the crucial placental connection. This stage involves rapid cell differentiation and the formation of the 3 primary germ layers: ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm. The visual resemblance to a hematophagic organism, specifically the external appearance and reliance on maternal blood supply, is striking when comparing 7th century terminology to modern embryological diagrams.
Following the Alaqah, the embryo enters the Mudghah stage, typically around the 4th week. Mudghah means a chewed lump of flesh. At this point, the somites, which are blocks of mesoderm that will form the vertebrae, skeletal muscles, and dermis, become distinctly visible. These somites give the embryo a segmented, slightly indented appearance, resembling something that has been chewed or marked by teeth. The Quran specifies 2 types of Mudghah, one formed and one unformed, reflecting the rapid differentiation where some structures are clearly defined while others remain undifferentiated. This distinction highlights the non-uniform development rate across the embryonic body, where certain regions mature faster than others. The next critical sequence described is the formation of bones, referred to as Idham. Surah Al-Mu'minun states that God fashioned the Mudghah into bones. This sequence implies osteogenesis precedes myogenesis, a point historically debated but confirmed by modern embryology. Cartilage models, which later ossify into bone, begin forming during the 6th week. This skeletal framework provides the structural basis before the muscle tissue fully develops around it. The establishment of the axial skeleton, including the vertebral column, is a prerequisite for the subsequent layering of muscle tissue. This specific ordering contradicts earlier Greek theories, which often posited simultaneous development of all major structures. After the bones are formed, the Quran states that God clothed the bones with flesh, Lahm. This corresponds to the development of skeletal muscles, myogenesis, which occurs primarily during the 7th and 8th weeks. Muscle precursor cells migrate and differentiate around the established cartilaginous and bony structures. This specific sequence, bone first, then muscle, aligns precisely with the observed developmental timeline, where the mesenchymal cells differentiate into chondrocytes and osteoblasts before the myoblasts fully envelop the skeleton. The muscle tissue provides the necessary mass and mobility, completing the structural framework initiated by bone formation. This stage marks the completion of the major structural components.
The verse concludes by stating, "Then we developed him into another creation." This phrase marks the transition from the embryonic period to the fetal period, typically around the end of the 8th week. At this point, all major organ systems are established, and the form is recognizably human. The term "another creation" signifies a qualitative shift in complexity and structure, moving beyond the initial rudimentary stages of Nutfah, Alaqah, and Mudghah. The fetal period is characterized by rapid growth, maturation of existing organs, and refinement of body proportions, rather than the formation of new structures. This transition is a key marker in both biological and theological understanding of human development. While the Quran focuses on physical stages, the Hadith literature provides the timing for the ensoulment, the blowing of the ruh, or soul. According to authentic narrations, the angel is sent to the embryo after 120 days, or 4 lunar months, following conception. This timing occurs well into the fetal period, after the physical formation stages described in the Quran are complete and the fetus is structurally mature. At this 120-day mark, the fetus exhibits complex movements and reflexes, signifying a theological and biological milestone. This theological timing distinguishes the fully formed physical body from the animated, ensouled human being, establishing the point of full personhood. The detailed accuracy of these embryological descriptions was largely unknown until the advent of modern embryology in the 20th century, utilizing advanced microscopy. Prior to this, classical Greek and Roman theories, such as those of Galen, dominated medical understanding, often describing simultaneous development of structures. The work of scientists like Dr. Keith Moore in the 1980s highlighted the precise correlation between the Quranic terminology and modern microscopic findings, particularly the visual resemblance of the Alaqah and Mudghah stages. This correlation is often cited as evidence of divine knowledge surpassing 7th century human scientific capacity, given the lack of sophisticated observational tools available at the time of revelation.
The detailed embryological sequence serves a profound theological purpose, demonstrating the power and knowledge of the Creator. The progression from an insignificant drop of fluid to a complex human being reinforces the concept of divine omnipotence and meticulous design. Understanding these stages strengthens the belief in the resurrection, as the Creator who formed man from nothing can certainly recreate him. The precision of the biological facts embedded within the revelation underscores its status as a divine text, providing internal evidence of its supernatural origin. This detailed account encourages reflection on human fragility and the complexity of creation.